Hello, and thanks for joining me. This is Bill Steffen, and we have moved out to the back porch here. A beautiful weather pattern that we have right now. We're going to warm things up a little bit. By Monday, we should be seeing temperatures up close to 80 degrees here during the afternoon. So very pleasant weather pattern across the Great Lakes right now. Well, let's start out and take a look at some cooler by the lake conditions here. This is a picture taken for Friday afternoon, mid-afternoon. And then, boy, look at all the boats out there. The fish must be biting. That's what I think, because you can see, I think in this shot, I counted 8 boats. And it's almost like a midsummer Saturday afternoon out here. So that's kind of neat. But look at the temperatures. We've got really cooler near the lake conditions here. 2 o'clock Friday afternoon. The temperature was 63 degrees in Grand Rapids, but at the Muskegon Pier, the temperature was just 45. There's actually a thermometer out there by the light at the end of the pier that reports in, and so that's a difference of what? That would be 18 degrees between inland areas, and this cool air doesn't penetrate in too terribly far. If you get in as far as the airport, the difference between Grand Rapids and Muskegon is on a day like today only about 5 to 7 degrees or so. But boy, you get close to the water out there, and it is really cold. Well, let's show you what's ahead here for us. Just a slight chance of a shower Saturday. Best bet for that would be during the morning. The odds of any one spot getting rain, 25%. It would be less than 1/10 of an inch. In fact, most areas may see just a sprinkle if you saw anything at all. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. It should be dry most of Saturday afternoon. It will be dry for Mother's Day on Sunday and also on Monday. So 2 days when the chance of rain really is 0. Warmer weather expected here, but cool conditions will continue. If you're going to be close to Lake Michigan, should be good weather for the Tulip Time parade, big parade there too in the afternoon, and the Riverbank Run here in West Michigan. Well, we got the forecast for next week straight ahead. Stay with us.
And Complete Care Concierge has us covered as our Bill Steffen Weather sponsors, and they've got you covered too. They are the fast, efficient, and affordable cleaning service serving all of West Michigan. They clean houses, offices, businesses. They do one-time cleans. They can clean on a repeated basis. Whatever you need, they have you covered. 616-264-1397, 616-264-1397. And here's a word from our other sponsor.
When your home needs help, you might not know where to start. Why not ask Ace? We're always here to help with Ace Handyman Services. Our talented craftsmen handle everything from drywall and carpentry to doors and kitchens. We're the neighbors you trust to get the job done right. Let's get started. Book your handyman appointment today. Ace Handyman Services, bringing helpful to your home.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Here's a look at the severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. This is for Saturday. We have a marginal risk for a good portion of the state of Florida, just a sliver of Alabama there in the southeast corner down near Dothan, and South Georgia around Valdosta, marginal risk for a severe thunderstorm. There will be showers and storms across the south. Very slow-moving system going across the southern United States, producing a lot of rain there. And look at the marginal risk out in Montana. You don't see that too terribly often, but it's only a level 1 risk of some gusty winds and some hail out there. So that's kind of interesting, and that would be on Saturday. Now we move ahead to Sunday, Mother's Day, and you'll be able to see that once again across much of the south there'll be scattered showers and storms, and a risk for some gusty winds and hail from Mississippi to Florida once again. And another risk area up there in Montana moves east a little bit into parts of North Dakota as well. We looked at the severe weather reports here from Thursday. There were 337 of them. That's a pretty significant severe weather day. A measured wind gust to 89 miles an hour at Alice, Texas. And right near Alice, there were at least half a dozen semis that were tipped over by the wind. We didn't report on that very often, back 40 years ago. But now we're hearing about that more often with these storms coming through, especially if the truck is empty. And it can be tipped by those strong winds there. We got the Whitecaps in town this weekend. There's games on the 10th and Mother's Day the 11th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Saturday's game will be mid to upper 60s there. It should be a fantastic day if you're heading out there. The weather will certainly be fair instead of foul. How's that? And it looks like the Whitecaps once again doing very well here this year so far with a nice winning record. Same thing for Lansing. So a couple of good games coming up May 10th and 11th out at LMCU Ballpark. Riverbank Run, as some of you are watching this, that's already ended, but the Riverbank Run calling for partly cloudy skies, about a 20% chance of a late shower. Now, the temperature starts out in the mid-40s here right when the first runners take off around 7 a.m., about 58 degrees here as the last of the runners come in. Of course, if I was there, it'd be Tuesday or Wednesday before I'd be coming on in. Wind for most of the race, 5 to 10 miles an hour, and it may be closer to the 10 as we come in, but with the west or even northwest wind, that's going to be kind of a crosswind or maybe even a little bit of a benefit to you as you round that last hill and come into the downtown area once again. Thousands of people downtown, cheer them on if you're not going to be running. Look at that beautiful picture. That was taken Friday afternoon. This is Windmill Island, where you have the big windmill, Deswan, and the smaller windmill there on the left side of the picture. The building's all looking real good out there. The lawn is cut. Look at all the tulips down there, and a lot of people walking around enjoying that. Next week, if you got nothing to do, you might want to head to Windmill Island. The tulips will still be in bloom on Monday, and you should be seeing some pretty good conditions out there. You can see the trees starting to turn green as the leaves start to pop out here with this warm weather pattern that we have. But good weather for the Folks Parade. 2 o'clock is the time for that Saturday afternoon. 66-hour rainfall. Look at the south. My goodness. Hey, it's going to rain in Birmingham. Look at that. Heavy rain in the southeast and also in the northeast, where there won't be any severe weather, but there will be a pretty nasty period of rain up there as well for Mother's Day weekend. And there's rain throughout the western United States. Rain down into northern California. There'll be a little bit more snow in Colorado, but kind of a mix of precipitation expected there. Here's a look at the forecast for today. We have a pretty healthy climb of 30 degrees from 42 for an early morning low to 72 for the afternoon high. Humidity falls to about 35 to 40% during the afternoon. So and any sprinkles that occur in the morning ought to dry off pretty quickly here. Northwest winds started the day about 5 miles an hour. And by the time we hit mid-afternoon, we'll be up around 10 to 15 miles an hour. So it does get just a touch breezy here during the afternoon. Here's a look at some high temperatures for the next several days here. This is Saturday, and as you can see, we're up to 73 here in downtown Grand Rapids, Greenville area as well. It is cooler into the lake. Look at South Haven, 56 degrees. The 58 is at Benton Harbor. So if you're going to be by the lake shore here, it's going to be cooler. For the Tulip Parade, though, it won't be quite that cool. There's downtown Holland's a little bit inland from the water there. And this high May sunshine has a chance to warm the air up a little bit. Just 60 for Traverse City. You can see up at Manistee, up at the north part of Lake Michigan up there, just 53 for a high temperature. But most of us should crack 70 degrees here during the day on Saturday. Sunday, about same story. Temperature about the same, 73 for Grand Rapids, 74, Three Rivers. It'll be a little bit warmer Sunday at Lake Michigan, where temperatures ought to get up into the mid-60s. Right by the water, it may only be around 60, but a couple degrees warmer at the lake on Sunday than it will be on Saturday. Look at Traverse City with the downslope there getting to 77. And look at this. These are temperatures for the day on Monday. 82 is what the computer gives us here. And I have out 80 right now, but pretty close. And the warm air is off to the north. Look at the temperature at Alpena, 86, Traverse City, 88. That's with downslope and full sunshine, so that may be a little bit optimistic, but you can see the yellow temperatures all the way around the lake. In Milwaukee, there'll be an east wind, and while we make 82 in Grand Rapids, it'll only be 68 at the airport in Milwaukee. 70 at Ludington should be fairly pleasant, but you've got 2 great days to go outside here, Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures will be on the mild side to even warm by Monday. And the next chance of rain after that looks like it's going to be Tuesday, about a 40% chance of showers, and there'll be a little bit better chance of showers here Wednesday and next week. So the middle of next week, it rains. Saturday, 72 degrees and partly cloudy, about a 20% chance of a light shower or sprinkle. Best bet for that would be during the morning, but most areas don't see it. Full sunshine for Sunday and Monday. Monday, we've got out 80 degrees. And it stays warm with temperatures close to 80 here amongst a random shower for Tuesday and on Wednesday. So pretty good. We can say goodbye to the frost possibilities here. Earlier Friday morning, we were 33 here in Grand Rapids, and that we had some temperatures down as low as I believe Ludington was 29. Roscommon was 19 early Friday morning. That's up by Houghton Lake. So some chilly temperatures over that sandy soil and some of the valleys there. But all in all, great weather for the weekend. Get out and enjoy.
So welcome to our special afternoon edition of Bill Steffen Weather. This is a lot earlier than we usually do this. As you can see, it's light outside behind us. But Bill is on his way to the Best of Grand Rapids Winners Party tonight. Mm-hmm. So he's very busy and we don't know what his schedule is. So we thought we would try to do this afternoon. So it's today's news last night. Here we go. All right. So as I was looking at things that were going on, if you're headed downtown to one of the museums tomorrow, a note that some of them have late opening times to accommodate the Riverbank Run traffic.
Yeah, that is always the case when they have something. I remember when we did the lip dub, that was back in about 2011 or something like that. They closed all the streets downtown. That was an early Sunday morning. This will be a great race Saturday morning. And like I said, if you're not racing, come down and cheer the runners on.
Do you remember the year that we did the 5K walk? And as we finished, we finished on a tiny little sidewalk next to people that were finishing the 10K.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, real runners. Good job.
And then people thought we were in the race. No, I don't think so. I did one 10K once, and I've done a number of 5Ks. I did some 5Ks where I actually ran. I did some 5K walks. Now I'm resigned to walking. I'm not going to be doing the Riverbank Run, but sure cheer on the people that are doing that.
There's a Medieval Studies Congress finishing up at Western Michigan today. It's mostly an academic conference for people all over the world who are interested in medieval studies, but there's a dance and some other things going on, and there's a production, The Book of Silence, in conjunction with the Western Michigan Theater and Dance Department. So sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah,
that's kind of interesting. When we do the big to-do in Comstock Park in August, we have some medieval activities there. Swordsmanship and all that. So interesting.
I think I was at the park one time with you, and there was a guy there doing medieval stuff, and he showed me how his sword worked, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then it wasn't so much for people as it was for fending off animals. In the old days like that. I mean, there were such things as nasty critters that were around that you had to kind of shoo out of the way.
On this day in Michigan history, the first lawful beer sales resumed after Prohibition, and the American Legion got the first license to sell beer in Detroit. And according to the internets, between 30 and 50,000 people turned up for it.
30 to 50,000 people?
Beer is popular across generations.
I hereby predict they ran out of beer. Wow. Yeah, that was interesting, and being the fact that I am a member of the Sons of the American Legion because of my father, I can attest to the fact that they have some good beer and some great food at the American Legion.
So if you had been there in 1933, you would have been on the insider track for whatever was going on in Detroit.
I guess so. Maybe I would have had a special pass to get in.
So this is something we talked about yesterday. Can a Michigan governor serve 3 terms? And the answer is not anymore. We'll call this the Engler Rule. A 1992 constitutional amendment limits the governor from serving 2 terms, and it mirrors the rule for the U.S. president if the person serves more than 2 years of a term because they're replacing someone else because of circumstances, then that counts as 1 term.
Oh, okay. That's kind of interesting because John Engler beat Blanchard first, and then I think Wolpe was next, and then after that was Figer, the attorney.
And then the lawmakers decided we're not into this, so then they passed the constitutional amendment. And William Milliken was actually the longest serving. He served longer than John Engler, but honorable mention to John Engler. And fun fact, Michigan has had 49 governors. Whoever's next is number 50.
Wow, that's interesting. Just had 49 governors. The max is 50. So we've really changed him out. Bill Milliken was from Traverse City, and I believe his family owned a little department store up there.
Yeah, his name is on some stuff up there. I think an auditorium.
Yeah. So interesting. Oh dear.
Look at you.
I was skinny back then.
I remember the balloon.
Yes, the Sky, it was called Sky Witness. WZZM contracted out with Doug and Karen Mills, who were both pilots. Karen Mills took up Barbara Bush once in Africa, of all places. Both Doug and Karen have passed away at this point in time, but we had a lot of fun in that. I think I flew in the balloon 9 times by my count, and some people didn't want to fly in it. They didn't like that idea. I just wanted to keep my center of gravity a little bit below the basket, so that worked out well. And we went up when we got married. You weren't around to see that, Michelle, for some strange reason, but we had.
But I was there for the replay because you guys went up years later, and I remember watching you go sitting in the back of the Suburban, and Peter Chan's parents were the ones driving it.
Oh, that's kind of neat. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we had some good times with the balloon. We landed once in Ionia, and we were in a field of cows, and all the cows came over to the balloon, and we had a guest or two who were clients, and they were kind of freaking out a little bit because all these cows were coming up. I said, "Oh, they're not very bright, but they're not going to hurt you. They just think this is a big trough descending out of the heavens here, so they're going to come and check it out." And we had to walk the balloon closer to the road, so it'd be easy to carry back to the van. But we had a lot of fun with that. There's not as much ballooning now because the insurance on it is pretty high, and it gets to be expensive to run the balloon. And of course, it costs more now. When I was there, I think Doug was charging $75 for a ride, and now it's.
But if you want to go, Ellen Baca's husband, right, has a balloon company, and it's awesome. They have a Facebook page. They put up amazing pictures. Check it out. It's worth following on Facebook.
Neat, amazing, yes, indeed.
And a couple of pictures from up north. We've got.
Oh, the
Dan
gross
would call that a dumpster chicken. It's a seagull.
dumpster chicken. Okay.
And a
I like that.
rose-breasted grosbeck. In
Yeah,
action.
grosbeak. That should be. I think that's an E.
Oh,
if I'm not
thanks.
mistaken. But I don't know. I may be wrong. You got the gull right. They're pretty interesting creatures. When I used to do the show at Grand Haven before the big fireworks show, I used to point out the fact that during the daytime the gulls would leave and go to the dump near Coopersville and scounge around, and then in the evening you'd see them flying back to the beach. And it was kind of interesting to watch the progression of them. It's kind of interesting, yeah. And the grosbeaks, I think, are here. I don't know that they're here all year, but that's interesting. And we have John Scully.
Always lovely.
Giving us some pictures. This is Gull Day, I guess.
A few more on the pier.
Special hi to Gull Lake. That's kind of neat. Yeah, we enjoy his pictures, and a lot of neat pictures coming off the webcams at Tulip Time. So if you just Google Holland webcams, you'll be able to see those and see some of what's going on out there. Great crowds, and like I said, it should be a fantastic weekend for the parade in Holland, the Riverbank Run, and everything else. So neat.
And if you take photos at Tulip Time, the Riverbank Run, or anything else you do, send them to Bill at billsteffen.com, and we'll put them on the show.
Yeah, sounds neat. Yeah, get everybody in
And check out our merch store, link in the comments.
That's true, yes. And so I'm off to party tonight and tomorrow night, so that's kind of neat. I want to thank you all for staying with us here till the very end. Hope you have yourself a great weekend and a good week next week.